You know, at one time, films used to live and die by the response of the critics, but today, everyone's got an opinion, and any chungster with a computer can weigh in on the newest releases. Now, to combat the negative buzz, studios are deciding not to screen some films for the press, and in spite of this, they still open at the top of the box office anyways. The bench warmers, anyone? No? Me neither. Do those scruffy critics matter anymore? Thumbs up, thumbs down? We're going to find out in The Loop. Joining us tonight from the Toronto Film Festival, Dallas Observer film critic and host of HDNet's Higher Definition, Robert Wolanski is here. Also joining us, Attack of the Show's very own anti-critic, Chris Gore, and Project Greenlight winner and Feast director, John Gulager. Gentlemen, welcome to The Loop. Robert, I want to start with you here. Tell me, movie critics, you might be a little biased here, but do they carry the same weight that they used to?
You think?
Are they really relevant? Justify your job to me, Robert.
You know, I don't have to defend my job, do you? Actually, I have to defend it to myself. Yeah, I think we're relevant. I think we're relevant in so much as that we're relevant when it comes to these smaller, more independent films. I think in something like Superman or maybe something like Snakes on a Plane, which wasn't screened and actually didn't do very well, I think we do serve a function. But I think it's those smaller films, many of the films that are actually playing here at the Toronto International Film Festival, that need our support, that need our love, that need our respect, and need our coverage.
Chris, what do you think? Can critics make or break a film anymore, or are they just there for the small guys, like Robert said?
Well, I mean, Robert is absolutely right. Certainly critics in one way can help support small independent films, but when it comes to the bigger movies these days, critics are part of the machine. Studios have basically co-opted critics by flying them out to lavish junkets. Come on, Kevin, I think you've been to a couple of those.
I fly Southwest, Gore. Everybody knows that. And I get a seat.
But they're basically just a part of the PR machine. I mean, the thing is when bloggers can be as widely read as Roger Ebert and all the other critics out there, it's really leveled the playing field and made the critic irrelevant. I mean, the Pauline Kaels of yesteryear, they don't exist. And to me, Roger Ebert, a national treasure, I really hope he comes back to that job, but the age of the movie critic is basically over. It's dead and gone.
All right, John, my parents blame the internet for a lot of things, namely myself and the way I turned out. But what do you think? Has the internet destroyed the movie critic as we know it?
Well, I don't know, because, to tell you the truth, I can't get enough of movies. So, I read everything online, I read the papers, and I watch everything on TV. So,
plus, do you think John's actually going to talk bad about film critics?
Small little film that needs a critic out there, to champion it. I need an Ebert. I need someone like that to get people to even know that my film exists.
So as a filmmaker, you're hoping just for the sheer publicity that you can get from a critic. Do you care if it's a good or a bad? I mean, obviously, hopefully you want the good, but...
No, of course, because, the thing is that sometimes you know that a movie critic hates the kind of movies that you like, that you love. So if he gives it a bad review, you'll go see it. So, you kind of have that framework. So, but online... There's some anonymity to some of the critics, and you kind of wonder, like, who is this criticizing Scorsese for his timing, sure, or something like that. What right does he have, and so it's
well, John, I got some advice for you. Okay, take a cue from the studios, and I'm dying to see Feast. By the way, I can't wait to see it. What you should do is, do what all the studios do. If you serve free beer, they will come. Invite the critics over, get them liquored up. And
you're guaranteed
show
at least 2 stars if you give them an imported beer as well. Robert,
I clearly don't get invited to the right places.
Yeah, no, you got to hit the major films there, buddy. Tell me, Robert, John made a point of saying that sometimes a critic doesn't like a particular genre, doesn't like the type of movies you like. Sometimes when I go to Rotten Tomatoes, I hope that a film that I want to see gets a bad rating. Do you think there's that sentiment among most people out there when it comes to movie critics?
I think the fact is, you find a writer you like, you find a writer who engages you or who enrages you, and you find somebody that you want to have an opinion with and share that discussion with. I've always believed that film criticism is not the beginning, it's not the end of the conversation, it's simply the beginning of the conversation. The problem with a lot of what goes on the internet, and a lot of the bloggers and a lot of the websites, is that it is sort of the exclamation point. It really should sort of be the semicolon. That's what film criticism is. Let's start talking about films, let's see how they move us, how they provoke us, but let's not simply say, this is great, this is awful, and stop the conversation.
Chris,
But we
what
know-
do you
but
think?
we know-
What punctuation defines you, Dr. Gore?
Well, but look, we know that audiences do not trust critics anymore. In fact, there's a lot of disdain for critics. You'll see those big quotes that are on the posters. I mean, a lot of those I've been seeing where they're actually quoting postings on certain websites.
Teen
it's not the
Flirt
actual
17
source.
says the most romantic film I've seen in my 13 years on this planet.
They're doing that now. It's crazy. So
Yeah, but
clearly,
Chris,
they don't
that's
care
like,
about what critics
that's
have
like
to say.
our audience. Say like Ain't It Cool News and gives us a good review. That's our audience, though.
That's true.
Yeah, but you want to talk about something that's been that drives me crazy because you want to talk about something that's been co-opted by the studios. Ain't It Cool News is the very example of the thing that's been co-opted by the studios.
Well, and
how
I'm
many
owned
times
by a
has Harry
major
Knowles been in a
network, and
movie?
I
How
have
many
to
times
get
has
to
Harry?
commercials, my friends. I'm sorry. Listen, at the end of the day, who cares what anyone else thinks? Everyone knows the only person you can really trust is me, Kevin Pereira. So just
I thought it was
listening,
Chris.
folks. It's not Chris. I take that to heart. Thanks
Oh.
to Robert, Chris, and John for joining us in the loop. Thanks for keeping us in the know, gentlemen. That was
Come
fun.
see Feast, midnight.
There you go.